Alright, today on Dadcraft we're here in the end at our end base, and we're going to look at two ways to get around the Endermen that you'll find all over the end. The first is that if you have a base that has cover that's 2 blocks high, the Endermen cannot come and get you. Now I've got a little safe 2 block high space out here. If I look at the Endermen, they're going to get angry and come toward me as soon as I look away. And yeah, they get quite angry, and I can actually summon a whole bunch of them to come here and try and whoop on me, but you know what? They are going to be stopped by this simple 2-height wall. And then I've got all day long to sit around here and just whack out. It will give me experience, it'll give me ender pearls, and it's a quick way to, see there's some ender pearls right there. Just take care of some of the Endermen around you. Now they will continuously spawn. When it's silent, there's no more Endermen around. Some of them will pop behind you in areas or to the right or to the left. Once it's silent, you know you've got them. And sure enough, I collect a bunch of ender pearls here. I've got 9 of them. And so this is a great way just to build experience, but also to get enough experience orbs to mend your tools if you have mending on them, or your armor, you can mend them as well. Again, you just need a space that's 2 blocks high, then just look at the Enderman, they'll come charge toward you, you just have to stand there and whack at them. So that's a pretty safe way to do things. So 2 blocks high, you're in a safe area. It's actually kind of like a simple mob farm, if you like. Here's the other way to take care of Enderman. I'm going to make a pair of shears with 2 iron ingots. And then of all things, I'm going to take a pumpkin, and I'm going to place the pumpkin on the ground here. And now I'm going to take the shears in my hand, and I'm going to shear that, and it gets this pumpkin face. I also get some pumpkin seeds. I can plant some more pumpkins with it, which is kind of fun. But now if I dig this up, I'm going to get a carved pumpkin head. And you can actually wear this on your head. I know, this is one of the weirdest things ever in the whole game. Now if you look, I have the carved pumpkin on my head. I'm looking out through it. I am now safe from the Endermen. I can wander out here, look at them. They don't see me. This is the strangest thing now. It really obscures your vision. But early on, if you're in the end and you don't have a base like this to protect yourself, and you want to walk around, you want to collect some different things. Maybe you're building your railway in the end to get to different places, like to one of the end cities or one of the end islands. During construction, you might want to consider wearing the carved pumpkin on your head to come out and keep yourself safe from the enemy. So there's 2 ways. We're going to go to one of the end cities now and take a look at a shulker, and we'll see what they're all about. So, see you in a minute. I'm going to travel over to one of the end cities. Alright, just a small side note before we get to the end city. If you're going to have a railway in the end, you probably want to make it only 2 blocks tall. Same reason why you might want to make things 2 blocks tall. The Endermen cannot spawn in here. They can't walk around in here. And it's a pretty safe way to travel. So the end cities tend to be on these islands farther away in the end islands. It's going to take some time to get there. But a railway is a great way to get there. Once you find an end city, make it 2 blocks tall. You're going to have a safe ride there. Especially when you get out in the open, you can put a half slab 2 blocks above you, and you're in the clear. So see you when we get to the end city, and we'll take a look at a shulker. Right, here we are approaching one of the end cities. It's this purple and yellow tower. We'll be approaching it from underneath. One of the safest ways to get to the end cities, because the shulkers, if they hit you with their missiles, you're going to start floating up in the air. So a great way to approach them is to tunnel up to them, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. So here's a base level of one of these end towers. We'll continue to climb. These rooms can have shulkers in them on the wall. There are these little boxes that screw top open, and then they come at you with their little shots. And here we've got a tall tower, and what we'll do is we'll find a shulker, and then we'll take a look at what they're all about. Okay, quickly now, I've found the shulker box. You can see it here. They're shooting these little bombs at me, and they start to hurt you pretty quickly. What I'll do is I'll shoot one with an arrow, and it takes damage. Shoot it again, and it falls and drops down. Here's half a shulker box. Here's another one who's giving me a hard time. 2 shots with the arrow, and you can see they make you float up, which is really hard to deal with because eventually you'll take some fall damage. And then when they close up their box, you can't hurt them, but eventually you can. Let me eat a little bit before I die again here. Their shots are pretty damaging. You can only be harmed when their box tops are open. And so I've killed a few of them here, and eventually this is going to wear off. You can see the effect wears off, and then I've got to get down to where I can retrieve some of these items. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these half slabs to get down. And what I've got here is half a shulker box. So this shulker shell, 2 of them, along with a standard chest, is going to make a shulker chest that I can put a whole bunch of stuff in. So they're very useful. So again, shulkers, you can get to them by hitting them with a sword or with arrows, but only when the boxes are open. And then collect the shulker shell halves, and you'll have a great place to do some storage that you can carry with you and carry a whole ton more items. So keep yourself safe from the shulkers. If those things hit you, you take damage, and they make you float up. Then eventually, you're going to drop down. So put a half slab above you to stop you from floating up, like I did over here a couple of times. And there I did it, and I floated up underneath. And then use the half slabs to get back down the wall. You can also collect these cool end rods, which are a light source. So, shulkers, pretty tough mob to get at. You can't be out in the open really and kill them. You've got to be inside. Sometimes they're also around the end cities around the outside. Okay, have some fun in the end. Have some fun playing Minecraft.